Spooky Streets is coming to the Dubois County Museum. Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. Joining us in the studio is Shirley Ray, the director of the Dubois County Museum. And Shirley, it's Halloween, and you still do your one night a month. You do a free night at the museum, but now we're kind of combining Halloween and the free night at the museum into one event. What is that?
We are. It's called Spooky Streets, and we're inviting anyone from the community or even outside of the community to come in and see the museum and to walk through our specially designed Spooky Street area, which takes place in our Main Street exhibit. So we have about 18 little shops. So it'll be spookified, and there'll be shopkeeps there to give you prizes and gifts and little candy things.
It's spookified?
It is spookified.
So there's like spider webs and things hanging, which normally
there will
be in the Main Street
we just now started doing that, and it's going to be candlelit, so it'll be very creepy.
Now, for those who have not been to the museum and been to that street area, basically it's one section of the museum where it is a bunch of facades of shops from ancient times or from different times. Like you can look in the surgeon's room and you see all the surgery tools and things. But now there's going to be somebody standing at that door.
To give you treats.
Treats, like what are the treats?
So a costumed volunteer will be available. We're also working with the ACT group, the Actors Community Theater, and they are going to be with us as well. So depending on how many of those actors volunteer, we'll have quite a few costumed people.
Okay, and this is on Thursday, October 29th.
Correct.
So in a way, it's pre-Halloween.
Yes, it's your practice trick-or-treating, I guess you could say.
Are you supposed to dress up? Are the kids supposed to be dressed?
Yes, please. Okay. That's the intention. Okay. The volunteers will be dressed, and they will feel very silly if they're handing out candy to uncostumed persons.
Okay, so somebody that is coming to this, would you like to know ahead of time that they're coming?
Because we want to make sure we have enough treats to go around. We would like people to make reservations just by simply calling the museum with your name, your phone number, the number of children, and the children's ages, just so we can have the appropriate items to distribute.
Now, it is not required, but it is
not required,
suggested.
Highly suggested. We are taking times in the sense of, do you have an idea between 5:30 and 8, in case we have to meter people through, space them out, but, there should be plenty to go around.
And it's like everything else. Wear a mask.
Yes, please.
Sanitize your hands. Practice social distancing.
Yes.
Now, we want to clarify for some people that are just wearing that plastic mask, you still need to wear a mask under that mask or a mask over that mask. So the mask itself is not the mask.
Yes, that is correct. So, pandemic standard is still applying to this situation.
And that should be everybody in the party. The parents may not be dressed up, but they still need to wear a mask.
Indeed, yes. And we do provide masks if you forget or don't have one on you. So we have disposable masks, and we have cloth masks that our volunteers make, and then we collect and sanitize and then reuse. So if you don't bring yours, we will give you one.
Okay, and this is your free night at the museum night. So you're combining. So there is no charge? No charge,
free admission. Okay. So it's your opportunity not only to see the museum at night, which is pretty cool, but also to see it in a new way now that we're spookifying it.
Okay, now, I guess my ask is there two ways you can come to this event? You can come and go just through the spookified Spooky Streets, or if you want, you can also tour the museum as part of it.
The typical museum spaces are open. Room 1 and 3 are open. Obviously, the village is spookified. We are still having our roofing going on, so depending on if it's done or not, it's possible it could be done by then and we could reopen. But we're planning on keeping the agriculture gallery as it is, because it's pretty scary in there with everything covered in plastic. So you'll get a peek of that, even if the roof is not completed, because it's part of our exit through the museum from the Spooky Streets.
Is this designed for a certain age?
Not necessarily, although we are gathering ages to make sure we don't, go overboard on some of our little displays. We're going to do some mannequin dismemberment and weird stuff like that. Nothing too hardcore, not like blood and guts, no chainsaws.
Okay.
But there will be areas that, we want to make sure the children are not going to freak out.
So it is spooky, not scary.
Yes,
if there is a
that's the intention. Right? And, I want to know the ages. We want to know the ages so we can, if we have to subdivide and say no children under a certain age because it's too creepy,
Okay.
Halloween can be tricky, I guess.
Now, for those, this may be the first time that they come to the museum.
Yes.
So if they're coming to the museum, I know you had that kind of circle drive in the front, but that's not the parking area.
No, you have to park
And off of 231, there's also a parking area, but that's really not the parking area. You go behind the building.
Behind the building. And evening parking, there's plenty.
Okay.
And it starts at 5:30, so there shouldn't be any issues with parking.
So again, this is Thursday, October 29th, from when to when?
5:30 to 8 p.m.
Are you, what, your normal hours are 10 to 2?
10 to 2.
Okay.
And then like Saturdays we're open like 10 to 4.
Okay.
Sundays 1 to 4. But during the week, you know, Tuesday through Friday, it's 10 to 2.
So on this day, you will be closed at 2.
Yes.
But then you'll reopen at 5:30.
So we close at 2, and then we'll, you know, get the final preparations in place, get the volunteers all costumed, and we'll reopen at 5:30 for the event.
If I would go through it now, is it spooky streetified, or is that
Not
something
yet.
you're going to do between 2 and 5:30?
It's very autumn,
Okay.
you know, sort of themed at the moment, and we're in the process. The exhibits department that meets on Tuesdays will be the spookifying agent. So they're going to come in and, you know, enhance. They've been creating some very interesting little vignettes, I guess, in a way.
So for those that have never been to the Main Street area, which is inside the museum,
Yes.
now called Spooky Streets.
Yes.
What are some of the rooms? I remember, you know,
Okay,
like
yes.
a dentist. I remember.
So it's a typical 1900s era village. So there's a one-room school, there's a doctor, there's a hotel, a cobbler, a surveyor, a photography studio. There's a little funeral parlor exhibit as well. So it's a collection of typical village life you would have, and then it's completely, obviously, full of artifacts from the era 1900s, which look extremely different by candlelight, as you can imagine.
Sure.
Especially the surgeon.
Typically, when you come into the museum, you just kind of free roam through
Yes.
Main Street. You can go this way, then turn around and go that
Right.
way. But for this event, you are going to, because of COVID and because it's
Yes.
Spooky Streets, you're going to go a
Right.
certain area. Certain
Yes, we're going to have one-way traffic, and it'll all be indicated, and then we'll be having volunteers sort of, you know, giving people directions. So it's a one trip through the village for this special event.
For folks that are coming and want to kind of plan their day, about how long? An hour, maybe? So if they come at 5:30, they're probably done by 6:30?
I mean, the walk through the streets will be fairly brisk, unless you have to wait. You know, unless we're metering. It's not a massive gallery, and since it's one-way traffic, we're going through kind of just the main section.
More efficient.
But you can certainly hang out in the rest of the museum and see the exhibits, especially if you haven't been in a while. The voting booth is still there. The elections exhibit would still be there if you haven't had a chance to see that incredible voting booth. And then, you know, we do change exhibits a lot. So even if you've been before, there are things to see on free night. And if you don't happen to be a member and get in free already, it's free to you that night. Once a month, always.
This is a free night.
Yes.
And this is the free night for the month of October.
Correct.
For the Dubois County Museum.
Yes.
Once again, the time, the date, and actually the location.
Okay, so it's October 29th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. And we are located on Newton Street. It's the old Kimball building, basically. Yeah. So.
And easy parking in the back, walk around the front, go in the front doors, and enjoy the museum.
Indeed.
All right. Shirley, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And looking forward to Spooky Streets at the Dubois County Museum.
So are we.
Thank you for watching 18WJTS. Our guest has been Shirley Ray. She's the director of the Dubois County Museum. Remember, it's a terrific place to go just anytime, but especially on free museum night, and it's Spooky Streets on Thursday, October 29th, 5:30 to 8. Thank you for watching.